If someone tells you this thing is a demon, you're like, yeah, I know it's a demon because I've experienced exactly what you're talking about. You don't excuse it with, by thinking that these people are woo-woo and it doesn't work. You have to be desperate enough to explore that option because you've tried everything else. Do I have to quit porn completely, or can I taper off? That's a question that some people might be asking, and I'm here to answer that. And let me front load this. Pornography, like we've talked about in other videos on this channel, isn't like, smoking or gambling. It's a different beast altogether because there's a particular spirit behind it. If this is your first time watching this content, some of the stuff that I'll say here might be strange to you, but you need to listen because I've been where you are if you're struggling with pornography. If you've tried to quit and every time you try to quit, it gets worse and worse, there's a reason for that. It's because pornography addiction isn't just a desire or a thought or something that you can't help. There's an actual demon that is assigned to you to ensure that those passions and those feelings come back at you at your weakest moments. And so until you address that spirit, you're never going to be free from pornography. I know this because I've been there. Now, the question about tapering off isn't something that applies with pornography. You don't taper off an addiction like pornography. You don't begin to ease out like, okay, so today I'm going to watch 10 minutes of pornography instead of my usual 30 minutes or 1 hour. And then next week I'm going to try to taper off to 8. And then the week after that, 5. It doesn't work that way. Pornography is like a black hole. You get near the event horizon and it sucks you in. That's the way it is. And you can't afford to play with it. If anyone is telling you that, you can taper off the addiction and it's just like nicotine or smoking, it's not the same. Because the moment you get close to it, within its vicinity, it just pulls you right back into it. And sometimes it is worse. Jesus told a story. Well, he explained how demons operate. He said when an evil spirit is cast out of a man, it roams around looking for a new host. And when he finds none, he goes back to the old host. And if he finds the old host empty, well swept, and just unoccupied, then he goes back and calls 7 more deadlier spirits than he is. And they come, and Jesus said, not I, Jesus says, the later condition of that person is worse than before that spirit was cast out. Why? Because one spirit was cast out, but now 8 have come back. And the 7 extra spirits are more wicked than the original one. These are the words of Jesus. So there's no tapering off. Abstinence is the only way forward. Why? Like I said earlier, pornography is a different beast. You can't go near it. You can't touch it. It can't be anywhere around you. Now, that is why when you're going on a journey of recovery from pornography, many times you need help. You need an accountability group or an accountability mentor or sponsor who is there to walk with you. Now, there are very few people who know how to do this because there's lots of information on Alcoholics Anonymous. There's lots of information on narcotics, but very little on pornography. Why is that? Because the addiction and the practice of pornography has been normalized for decades. And right now it's being normalized for younger ages. Younger and younger children are being told that it's okay now to masturbate. It's okay to watch pornography. And that is wrong. You're exposing them to a devil that will never let go of them until it destroys them. So you need to make a decision that you cannot engage in pornography at all. But that is a decision you have to make in your mind. During my journey towards recovery, there was a question that came to me. Do you really want to be free? And I'm going to ask you that question. I asked that question in the first couple of videos. Do you really want to be free? Because if I say you need to abstain and you're saying that's impossible, or I don't think that's going to work, then you don't really want to be free. You need to make up your mind that, yes, I do want to be free, and I'm willing to pay the price in order to be free. I left some instructions in earlier videos. Please go back and watch those videos. I don't want this video to be longer than it's already going to be. But there are things to do. There are steps to take to show how serious you are. You're going to need to follow those steps, and you're going to need to make a quality decision that you are willing to engage in abstinence. Does it mean you're going to walk away from that spot and you're completely going to not experience temptations? You're not going to stumble a couple of times and watch or see pornography? No. But what it does mean is you have fixed your course. You've set your course towards freedom, and making sure that you have an answer in your soul that says, I refuse to taper off. I refuse to dabble in pornography, because I think by dabbling less and less, I get freer. Once you get that idea out of your head, you're well on your way to freedom. Freedom must be your destination. It has to be a destiny. It can't be an abstract hope. Someday I'm going to be free. All right. Now, I love the Alcoholics Anonymous. I've attended several meetings when I worked with recovering addicts, and it was interesting to watch. But there seems to be a sense of, well, you're always going to be an addict. And you know what? They are right. Because as long as you don't deal with that devil that keeps following you around, you're always going to be an addict. You're always going to be stuck. You're always going to be looking over your shoulder for the next time you slip up. But when you attack that spirit and deal with it and commit to God and say, I'm going to follow you and I'm going to do this or die, it changes everything. You can't shortchange yourself. You can't have any conversation in your innermost thought, in your inner monologue, that is other than freedom. And once you have that thought going on in your head, you will do what it takes to be free. You will reach out to someone who can help you. You will reach out to a group that is doing something targeted at setting people completely free. If someone tells you this thing is a demon, you're like, yeah, I know it's a demon because I've experienced exactly what you're talking about. You don't excuse it with, by thinking that these people are woo-woo and it doesn't work. You have to be desperate enough to explore that option because you've tried everything else. So maybe these guys know what they're talking about. So again, and I'm going to repeat it again, freedom cannot be something that is abstract. It has to be your destination, and you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to arrive there. So in closing, if you want to, you can reach out to me by sending a comment in this video and let me know where you are. Send a comment to ask for the resources that we have. I have the book, I have a program, and I'm working on a freedom devotional /journal that you can use to go through your own journey and learn more about what I have to teach about being truly free from pornography. God bless you, and I'll catch you on the next one.